Hey, everybody, this is Evangelist Elizabeth Perez, and I am, I love God. Um, I love people, and I am here to give hope to the hopeless and to just, this fan is not doing me justice. Sorry. I am here to encourage you guys and to bring hope to you and to just show you, like, no matter what your situation is that's going on in life, there is hope, there is a way out. To show you that God can turn any situation or circumstance around. And I'm really living proof. So tonight I want to share my story of overcoming domestic violence. So it's from victim to victor. And just the process of it, the other day, I actually thought it was like 18 years, but it wasn't. It was 23 years ago that I got out of that. Like, it's been 23 years. God, thank you. Whew. And so in that, I know that it's really hard to see people that you love go through that, because they don't deserve that. You want more for them, and you never want to see anyone like that you care about, you love, or just anybody being verbally abused, beat on, being treated like a doormat, being spoken to like the dirt on the floor, and just no one wants to see anybody that they love go through that. Nobody is something hurtful. But what I do know from my own experience, because like a lot of people will be like, oh, why are you just dealing with it? Like, just get out. But I don't think that people understand the weight of the intimidation and the fear that other person has over you. And so, yeah, you're not behind closed doors, so it's not easy. So I would in my situation, I lost a lot of friends because they were my friends. Like, they did not want to see, somebody beating on me, hitting on me. And I get it now. I get it because, like, I'm not going to sit there and be around somebody that and am watching them be verbally and physically abused. Like, nah, I ain't doing that. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I also will right now be like a mouthpiece. But sometimes when you speak up for a person, you'll lose the relationship because they're going to choose them. And it's not because, you know, it's not because they don't love you. It's because they love their trauma. And yeah, they ain't going to tell you they love their trauma, but like, they are looking past getting beat on. They're looking past all of this and trying to find the good because maybe they think they have like some good D, or, good vagina. Like, that's the truth, or just like they just afraid to be alone. So there's just so many aspects to it. I always ask God to allow me to remember where he has brought me from, right? Because I don't want to ever, and it keeps me humble. It's not also that I can stay stuck on my past. No, because see, I did something different. I got out and then I dealt with the trauma, because I understood that hurt people, and I never wanted to bleed on anybody who didn't cut me. Like, I dealt with it and I learned from it, right? So there is a huge difference in it, because a lot of people, when they get out of when they get out of any type of relationship, whether it be child abuse, any type of abuse, childhood trauma, anything, right? They feel like, oh, because I'm not in it no more and I'm doing good, then I have dealt with it. And that's not true. The truth of it is that you have suppressed it and you moved on with your life. You're not thinking about it no more. You are, doing better in life. You're not the same person that you were, but all of the trauma is just laying dormant. And what happens is that you end up meeting somebody because you didn't deal with this trauma, and now they end up triggering something that was laying dormant, and all of these things, the unresolved trauma, start to surface. They start to come back alive because they never died. You never killed them. You never dealt with it. You just, it's like, what is that saying? What is it? If it's like, if I'm not looking at it, it didn't happen. Like, it's not smart. And I have to say this before I even get into this. Time heals all wounds is a straight up lie from the devil, because time does not heal all wounds. No, it does not. It trust me, it does not. And it suppresses them. They're gonna come up, they're gonna come out on other people. A song could trigger it. A word that somebody has said to you, some, like, oh, you're dumb, that could trigger it. Somebody like trying to, like, if you've been cheated and lied on, somebody, lying to you, that could be a trigger, where it's like, oh, you think I'm dumb enough to believe this? You know what I mean? And then, like, now you're acting all out of character and you're like, wait, where did this come from? It was that laying dormant trauma that you never addressed. And I get it, because it's like, why do I have to deal with it if that was back then? But you do, because, like, if in life, if you don't deal with it, then you're gonna meet people, and you're gonna keep meeting those people wound to wound. You're not gonna meet the people, and like it's not gonna be healthy. And the sad part about it is that when people have unresolved trauma, they end up dating people, and what they have in common is their trauma. Like, they don't even know, but like they are meeting each other. Instead of meeting each other heart to heart, they're meeting each other wound to wound. That's the only common denominator that there is their dysfunction. And so sometimes people get caught up in their dysfunction. They don't even know what normal is, because they've dealt with dysfunction for their whole life. That normal feels like, oh, this is too good to be true. And that is crazy. Like, when you feel as though like something is too good to be true, because you don't understand that you deserve that. And it's not too good to be true, because you're so used to being treated less than. You're so used to being spoken down to. You're not used to somebody valuing you, because the truth of the matter is you don't even value yourself, because you don't even know your value. Because if you knew your value, you wouldn't be tolerating that. You wouldn't be dealing with that. You wouldn't let nobody treat you any type of way, because you would have a standard, because you understand who you are. You understand that people ain't just gonna handle you however they want to handle you. You're gonna know that. Now, in my situation, before I get to how it really is, because that's really the truth. Like, if you have not dealt with this, you're just gonna keep on repeating the same exact cycle over and over and over. It does not matter. You will keep meeting people, and they will have different names, they will have different faces, they will have probably even live in a different state. But guess what? Their personality, the way that they are, it will be as though you will keep meeting the same type of people over and over and over again, until you heal and deal with the trauma that has laid up within you. Because sometimes that trauma feels like love. So until you hit the reality, right, of like, okay, if I don't fix this, because a lot of times people they just living in this life like they got forever, and not realizing that, well, number one, time is our highest commodity, right? We can't get time back. What happens? Tomorrow's not promised to nobody. We don't know. I don't even know. I'm gonna be here tomorrow because God got me to do. I got some stuff to do, but even with that, He could still take me. Like, God could do whatever He wants. We were born, and God knew what day we were born, and He knows what day we gonna be up out of here. So we cannot just think that we have forever to fix something that, like, we don't know how long we have. And so, yeah, life is short. But what this has taught me in this is, like, even when I see like, to see my loved ones, to see a loved one go through that, it's so hurtful, because it's like, I want to just pull you up out of here. Like, I want to just keep on like preaching to you, but you can't hear me. So I have to back up and let God be God and write their story the same way He wrote my story. Because it's like, God, if you did it for me, you'll do it for them too, because you're no respecter of persons. That you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Like, you kept me knowing that I would serve you later on, and I would share my testimony, because I do believe I didn't go through all that hell and hot water just to go through all that hell and hot water. And I am not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed to say I was Boo Boo the fool, and I let people treat me however they wanted to treat me. But guess what? That's not my story no more. That's not who I am. But I'm gonna share it so that I could pull somebody else out, so I could show somebody else it ain't over till God says it's over. And as long as you have a pulse, God has a plan for your life, and I want you to get out. My story of domestic violence is from 23 years ago. 23 years, okay, ago, I dealt with that. And God, I thank you, Jesus, okay? 23 years ago. And what's so crazy is that, like, I don't talk about it on a regular, I don't at all. But when I know I have to share it, because there are so many people behind closed doors that are like, even in probably church, sitting next to you, and they're smiling and they look real good. And then when they're going home, they being dragged, they being beat on. You know what I mean? They're being talked down to, like if they are nothing. They are sitting up there and they are literally like screaming for help in a room full of people, and feeling like no one could see them because they are scared to open their mouth. They are in shame. They are embarrassed because how can somebody that says they love me beat on me? How can somebody that says they love me hurt me? How can somebody that loves me say these things to me, belittle me, embarrass me, cheat on me? How can somebody that loves me treat me as though I am nobody? So who wants to sit there and go to the mountaintops and say, this is my story? You know what I mean? Like, I'm in this right now. No, it's embarrassing. And it's, yes, it's easy for people to be like, oh, well, why don't you just leave? Because there's a certain level of weight of fear and intimidation that person puts on you. The fear and intimidation that my daughter's father had on me, okay, it was a debilitating type of fear, okay, because I had never in my life met somebody that was that level of crazy. Okay. Like I didn't. And so it's not I think that it's not even just that. Like, I also had dealt with like abuse from a child. And so that's different. When you deal with abuse like as a child, then that feels like love. And even though it's not love and it's toxic, you start to think that that's a form of love, and it's not. I'm sorry. I'm trying to share the video to like, and it's not letting me be great. It's not love. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. And I'm sad when I'm looking online and I'm seeing people that didn't get out, people that, they probably were like, yeah, I'm getting out of this. Like, I'm not tolerating or dealing with this anymore. And they never got out. Like, they never made it out. They died because the truth of the matter is, it's like somebody could hit you the wrong way. And if they hit you the wrong way, you're dead. You're done. Like, you're dead. And I want people to not even have to like go through that process of like, I'm tired of seeing people die and people not here. I'm sorry, hold on. Oh my, listen, y'all gonna have to pray for me because my multitasking skills, I'm a whole work in progress. So yeah. But can I share this? I don't know why is this. Hold on a minute. Oh, that's why, because I think I have the visibility to not on it. Okay, so I'm gonna mess with this later before it cuts off again. Um, so for 23 years ago, I had met, my daughter's father, and the devil don't show up with a red cape and horns and all of that. Like, they show up as everything that you want them to be, because the same way that God sends people, the devil sends people too. And this is why you have to be, relationships is where like people be, their purpose dies, their destiny dies, because like your connection, it determines your direction. And so if you're connected to the wrong person, you don't make it there. You know what I mean? If you don't know, like, you just don't know. So he did not come dressed up as it. I didn't know the streets, right? Nobody ever talked to me about, like, I didn't know my value. I didn't know how I was supposed to be treated. I didn't know who I was, so I just settled for whatever came my way, and that's the truth. The truth of the matter. And so, even though I knew it was wrong, I tried to make up, like, feel. I tried to see, like, maybe if I didn't do this, then that wouldn't have happened. Maybe if I didn't do this, and I just know what it's like being cheated on, having women coming, like, out there fighting. And it's like, why, girl, what is wrong with you? You over here out in these streets fighting people, like this boy walking around with a 14-karat dingling. Like, what is wrong with you? And the D wasn't like, listen, I'm stay, but I'm gonna just say the truth. This is the truth. And I know they knew it too. Like, and it was like, oh Lord. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking when I done laid up with that person now. And even not to my daughters, they're like, "Oh, what was wrong with you?" But it happened because when you don't know who you are, you'll settle for whatever comes your way. It doesn't matter, like whatever comes your way. And that's the sad truth of it. And like that's why as a parent, I have done my best, and even as like a grandma, and as a woman of God, I will do my best to let people understand their value, to know like who they are. How do you learn your value? If you don't know God and you're an unbeliever, then you need to get your life right with God. If you are a believer, you need to renew your mind so that your mind is not, you're not thinking the same, you're not settling for the same. Like when you know better, you do better. And it's just like that's pretty much what it is. When you shelter a child, guess what? And you're like, oh, I gotta protect them. You're not protecting them. You're actually doing more harm than good, because now they out in these streets, and these streets is teaching them. And I promise they ain't teaching them nothing good. They not teaching them nothing good. Okay. So one of the things is like that I realized about me is that I used to always try to see the good in people, right? And even if there was like something wasn't right, I would still try to see the good in people, because for some reason, I don't know, I would try to look at their potential instead of seeing them for who they are. And every single time I would set my own self up for failure, and because I had expectations of them that they didn't even have themselves. Because the truth be told, people do not change unless they feel like they need to change. It has to be a them decision, not a you decision. Because when a person changes because you wanted them to, what ends up happening is they resent you later on down the line. They resent you. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then like, if you don't value yourself, how do you expect for anybody else to value you? That's just the truth. I don't know why, for like why, because my daughter's father, he was a street dude. He was a hustler out in the street. Like, and I don't know why I was attracted to somebody who like they was in gangs and all of this stuff, because that wasn't my lifestyle. That wasn't nothing I ever like was around or was used to. But I literally settled for that. I literally like thought that was okay in a sense. And like, that was the dumbest thing ever. It was the dumbest thing ever. But at the same time, I I I wish that, like, not wish, but like, had I had somebody, an adult, say, "Hey, like you run around with this fool," like, like. But then I don't know, because my attitude was stank at that time, so I don't know, because the trauma and the abuse that I went through, I had a real like. I had a real nasty attitude, and my words, they could cut you. You know what I mean? So like, it just was. I don't know if that would have worked, but yeah, I don't know if that would have worked. But I did. I ended up running around with this man, and I don't. There was nothing there was no attraction. It was nothing. It was just that I was afraid to be, I guess, by myself. So I just settled for anyone who was giving me attention. And which we don't realize is bad company. It corrupts good character, And sometimes, listen, you can do that all by yourself. And the ways that he treated me, it was not okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've done got lifted up by my hair. Um, I've done got pushed downstairs coming out of the after hour spot. Like, I have been through some stuff, like even after I had my daughter, to the point that we would sleep on the floor just because of the fear and the intimidation factor of it. You know, and that was probably like the hardest thing. Is like, I'm trying to, when I actually was like trying to get away, and it was like this man just keep popping up. Like, he would have people watching me to go, because I had moved my own apartment, watching me to go in and wait in the back hallway to push me in, like lock me in his house and do all these different things. So it was scary. So for me, I have a level of empathy for people who are in domestic violence relationship. And it doesn't just go for women, because men get in domestic violence relationships too. Okay. There are women that beat on men. There are women that think that they could verbally abuse men, talk down to them, tell them that they ain't nothing, tell them they ain't never gonna be nothing, tell them they're stupid, tell them their D ain't good. Like, go, and so it goes both ways. It's not just a woman thing, because I have seen it time and time again. And for me, it is, listen, there's nobody in their right mind that should ever, there's nothing you could do that should make somebody feel like it's okay to treat you this way, or to talk to you this way, or all it is. But people do what you allow them to do. That's the truth of the matter. They allow you to do it because it in the if I people will do what you allow them to do, right? Because they know who to do it. They know who to prey on. They know who's going to accept it. They know because they've done it for so long. And unfortunately, this is not, you're definitely not the first person. You're just on their victim list. They just keep going down the line and keep going down the line. And it definitely started even before them. They probably done seen their father do it or their mama do it, or and this became their norm because it becomes a generational curse. And now for me it is, no, this stops with me. This ends with me. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care, if I'm watching my child go through it, because God, you bringing them out because I didn't see what you did for me. Yeah, it hurts, right? Because it's like, oh, I've seen this, because the enemy loves to try to put some doubt in your mind. The enemy loves to try to make you think that God ain't gonna do what he said he gonna do. The enemy loves to make you question and to sit there and to be focused on the problem. But nah, we don't focus on the problem. I go to the problem solver because he's the only one that can solve the issue. So as much as I want to go in and I want to go pull them babies out or pull some people out of their stuff, I understand that my prayers behind closed doors and me surrendering to God could do much more than what I could ever do in my own strength, in my own might, because that word of God says it's not by might and it's not by power, but it is by God and God alone. So I trust God because I understand that I know the hot mess that I was, and it was only God that brought me out. It was only God that kept me. That I should have lost my mind. Do you understand? I should have lost my mind, but he kept me. He kept me. I thought that being strong was my only option, and that's really what kept me. Okay, I remember just sitting there and thinking, like, if I was to die today, would I be okay? If I was to die today, like, what's gonna happen to my kids? Like it just was so many things that I literally sat there and I had to think about. But at the end, the conclusion is that I really had to realize I have to do something about this, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up dead somewhere. I don't know what this person is capable, for doing. I literally am laying next to this person and it feels like I'm sleeping with the enemy. How did I get here? Like, when did this happen? Do you understand the level of you trying to escape somebody and they're stalking you every corner you go? They pop up. Like, it's like you cannot get away from them. You put restraining orders. They don't care about no restraining orders because they won't be about that life, right? And I'm telling you that they only prey on people that they know will allow it, that they know that they don't know their self-worth, that they know that will deal with it, because they ain't going on to nobody that no, they didn't know their value. They ain't doing that. Like, they not like somebody that already, like, probably overcome that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, for me, I do not tolerate any type of abuse. You are not talking to me any type of way. The first sign of any type of verbal abuse, I'm out. The physical abuse is definitely a no, because I understand that if it happens one time, it will continuously happen. It's never one time. It keeps on going and it gets worse. It gets worse. And nobody should feel as though it's okay to touch you. You are not a punching bag. You are not somebody's piece of property. You are a person that God created. You are valuable. You deserve to be treated like you are more precious than rubies. Like, you are somebody, because you are somebody. You're not nobody. You're not just here just to take up space and air. No. And that whole, like, oh, I'm just staying with them because it's been, X amount of years. Okay. So you're just going to stay for the rest of your life just staying with this person because you've been with them for 7 years? That should make you even leave more, because you don't waste the 7 years of your life. And there is so much more. There's a million people in the world. And, like, you're staying in this situation. Why? For the sake of saying you have somebody? That's like having nobody, because they're tearing you down little by little every single day. And that's not okay. So, hold on. So, yeah, my story, my story is that I was in domestic violence relationship. and it was very scary. And I understand, like, just trying to see the good in people and having them expectations, and you set yourself up for failure because you really have to see people for who you are. And I always thought, like, I would try to fix people, and it's like, girl, you ain't Bob the Builder. Like, no, see if you see when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. And so what happened was, is like, I ended up, it ended up getting really, really, like, to the point where it was bad, and he ended up going to jail, and I ended up getting married to a woman. And then I became the abuser. Me and my ex-wife, like, if we were both abusive to each other, because it's like, you're a female, you better be like, what's up, you know what I mean? And so, not saying that's okay, but I became who hurt me. And in that, like, it lasted for so long. But what happened was, is that when he had came out, she was so, like, she didn't care about nobody. She just had that I don't give a, attitude. So, like I said, you keep meeting the same exact type of people, and you're wondering why they show up as everything that I thought I wanted, and then they become the person that I literally could not stand, because we were meeting each other through trauma. So when I met her, when I got with her, everything was all good until it wasn't. And then what happened was, is that me and her used to fight. And then when he came out, she was not scared of him, and he was mad bigger than her. And I would be like, hold up. But when she saw the level of fear and intimidation on me and her we would argue, we would fight, like, and he would do things purposely, stand outside my house, like, so that me and her would be fighting. Like, he just was intentional of trying to ruin my life. So after so long of dealing with it, I had to pick my battle. I literally had to either face the fear of and deal with this man, right, and not have any sign of any fear or intimidation, or I'm going to have to argue with this woman every single day. So I just became mean, like, just mean, like, I don't care about nothing, and I meant it. And so he began to, when he had came out a few years later, he saw it on me. Like, he saw, I remember one day he came to my house. He didn't ever come to my house, and my friend was with my kids, and he took them. And I'm telling you, when I tell you, I told him, you bring my kids right now. And he came down that block and took them. And the words that I done said to him, he said, oh, you don't care about nothing. From that day moving forward, he never tried to disrespect me again, because now I understood. Now you ain't about to treat me however you want. You ain't about to talk to me however you want. And we talking about now several years later, because now I'm like, nah, we ain't doing it. Nobody's not treating me like that. Like, now I had become real thick in my skin and real tough to the point, like, I don't care. Just like, I don't care. And so that ended that. But with me and her, it was the same exact cycle until, like, it just wasn't. Like, it just was like fighting back and forth all the time, like arguing, her cheating, me thinking, okay, this person's gonna change, taking it back. It was cycle and cycle and cycle, over and over, drama and drama and drama. Because when you are in dysfunction, it's like you need drama in order to live. Like, if you don't got no drama, then it's like, what's going on? Like, because you're so used to it, and it sounds so crazy, but it's the truth. It's like, oh, something gotta be going on. There gotta be some type of drama, because if not, then, like, something is wrong. And that's not, like, nah, that's not normal. That's not okay. Life should be peaceful. Life should be joyful. And when it's not, like, if somebody doesn't bring you peace, then they gotta go, because at a certain point, it's like you have to choose. They have to choose you. um I remember my friends, like, there were so many people telling me, like, to leave, but it literally felt like my my heart was telling me to leave, but my feet would not move. Like, I was just glued right there. After dealing with, like, the toxic relationship, especially with my ex-wife, I thought I was broken. I thought, like, my heart was an ice box. Like, I didn't feel like I could love anybody but my kids. Like, after that, people would like me, and I just would not like them back. Like, I just didn't. I had a disconnect because of the wrong type of not love situations that I had encountered. Um, and so I don't know. I dealt with it, and the physical and emotional abuse of it took a toll. And I guess the feeling of intimidation and, by someone who said they love you, and just being so tired of it, I just became numb. I was like, nah, just like, I ain't never gonna let nobody feel, make me feel this way. I'm never going to allow anybody to treat me this way, because I did not I did not want I did not want to die in a domestic violence relationship. Like, I did not want that to be my story. My kids don't have a mom, and they showing up don't got no daddy. Because of what I tolerated. And then, like, just sitting with myself, it was like, if I don't get out of this, then I'm showing my daughters, parents, you're setting the standard. Like, honestly, like, you don't even realize it, but your kids are watching. I don't care if they're 2, 3 years old, whatever. If they're in that house, y'all screaming, y'all fighting. When they get older, they are going to end up thinking that that's the norm. They're going to end up thinking that this is how a relationship is supposed to be, because this is what you show them. And you probably thinking, oh, they just a baby. But no, you are setting your own children up for failure, because what we allow, that sets the standard for our children. Now you're watching your kid go through it, and you're like, oh, I don't know how they got there, because they watched you. But it's so, like, I think that sometimes as parents, like me, I was 14, 15, in them ages, it's not an excuse, but we get selfish and like, oh, I just want somebody to be with, and we don't realize that we're actually traumatizing the next generation. We are showing them like what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. We are not showing them what healthiness is. We're not showing them any of that. So, like, even with myself, like, I could not get. I have allowed certain things, and I have to deal with that, right? I don't have to deal with it, because I let God deal with it, because I already know, and I know I'm not that person no more. And I also know, like, that God can change the trajectory of anybody's life. But in that situation, like, I think that if we open that space to let people know that even verbal abuse, and men especially, I don't care if you're a man, okay? If you are a man and you are allowing a woman to hit you because you think, oh, I'm a man, I'm strong, I can deal with it, you don't deserve that. You do not deserve to be touched. You do not deserve to be belittled. You do not deserve that. And my prayer for you is that you take time and you get out of that as quick as you can, because that person's just going to keep doing it over and over until you really feel that way and you're ready to end your life. Like, just, Jesus, take me up out of here. So my prayer is that you actually get out, because when I was with my ex-wife, I literally tried to take my own life, because I felt like if I shouldn't even be here, because that's how little I felt. I felt like if this was it in life, I did not want to be here, that my kids deserve more. I felt like I wasn't a good mother, and that, they needed to be with somebody who had more money, or had a house, or had this, or had that. But the reality of it is, God did not let me die on an overdose for all them pills. God did not let me slit nothing on me. God did not let me, because he knew that one day I would get to know him, and I would be where he would pull me out, and I would not be in that place. And I'm so thankful, because there's nobody, no matter what we went through, there's nobody that was going to love them the way that I love them and care for them. And now I didn't know better. But as I sat with it and realized, okay, I have to do something about it. I have to change something. This is not normal to feel like depressed, to feel sad, but you still got to show up for your kids every day. One of the things that God did for me is that he allowed my children to be a strength to me in a way, because I did not want them to see their mama laying in a bed, just all laid out. Like, I would be bawling, crying, okay, and my daughter would be like, what's wrong? I'd be like, I got a hair in my eye. Girl, you ain't got no hair in your eye. But I would not want them, even though I know that they probably wasn't dumb, but I didn't want them to see how I really felt inside. So I just being strong was my only option at that time, because I had to show up for them kids, because at the end of the day, they didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be born into this world. I chose to have them. So regardless of what's going on, I got to still show up for them. I got to still feed them. I got to still make sure they're good. I got to still I still have to be mom. And so that at the end of it, no matter what was going on in my life, I still had to be mom. And I didn't get mom right, because a lot of the time I was screaming, because that was like the only language I kind of, I got screamed at. So, and that wasn't right. So I learned through time. And I just want to encourage somebody, like, you ain't got to stay in that situation. Like, life is so much more than what you have settled for, what you have tolerated. and you can get out. Like, there is help. There is a way out. This does not have to be forever. I understand that it could be scary. I understand the intimidation. I understand all of it. And I want to tell you, like, no, as long as you have a pulse, God has a plan for your life. Like, talk to him, tell him, like, God, I need you for you to be my plan of escape. Like, I need for you to help me to be better at this. And I understand, like, if you've been through it your whole life, but like, where does it end? Where does it end? Like, is this just that you're gonna be like 50 years old and just getting beat on with somebody? I remember, like, it was like so crazy. My daughter was 13 years old, my oldest daughter, and she's 28 now. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was laying down in my bed and she came and sat on my bed and she said, "Mom, why do you keep on," she said, "Why do you keep on dealing with that girl? She hate oh, she hate that girl some type of way. Why do you keep on taking her back? Do you want to get old and like you just keep on dealing with somebody that says they sorry and then they come back and they keep on treating you like you're nothing and like you're dirt?" And it was so mind boggling that how does this 13-year-old know this and I'm a grown up and I don't know this? Like, it was like, mm. And in that moment, my daughter doesn't even know that it was those words that came out of her mouth that made me realize I can never deal with this again. This just got she got to go, and I will never deal with this again. Because for me to get checked by my 13-year-old that knew better than what I did, that thing hurt some type of bad. But I had decided in that moment, I'm gonna be the change that I want to see. And a lot of the time, like, I was bitter. Um, Whew, I was bitter. I was angry at the world because of the cards that I was dealt. That's how I kind of looked at it. Um, and yeah, I really did. Like, after that, I felt like everything that she said, it it became the false truth of it. You know what I mean? It was a bold-faced lie from the devil, but it was the truth. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I was dumb. I was ugly. No one else would ever want me with all these kids. I felt like I would never be anything. I felt like I was only somebody that a mother could love. I felt like I deserve to be belittled and cheated on in front of people. Um, I believed it and I felt like I just might as well have stayed with that person because they were the only one that was gonna want me, because I believed the lies. Um, and so yeah, it was my own it was my own brokenness. It was my own stuff, and it's literally them, like, and it wasn't me, because you have to understand these same people, they're broken inside. They're broken, they're jealous, they're all of this, and nothing you could do could change their mind. There's nothing that you could have done that should make them act that way. And I know a lot of times, like, oh, if I wouldn't have done this, then that would have happened. No, because you no one should feel as though they should put their hands on you or just talk to you any type of way. That's their own trauma coming and spilling up on you. And what happens if you keep dealing with it, you become the person who hurt you. Now you done met somebody and it's a good man or it's a good woman, and you sitting up there and it's like, oh, I don't like this person because they too nice to me. Oh, I don't like this person because they too good to me. Oh, something like they too soft. I need me a hood nigga. Oh, Lord Jesus, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't good enough, or I need this, like, because you got so used to that trauma. You know what I mean? And you just keep going back, and you don't even realize like what a good person is in front of you. So you take that good person that was in front of you, and now you traumatize that good person that was in front of you, that good man or that good woman, because somebody done hurt you. And the cycle just keeps going on and on and on until somebody comes along and says, nah, this stops me. Nah, I'm gonna deal with this. Okay, I'm gonna sit with this and I'm gonna be real because I need to deal with this. Because if I don't, what it's gonna I'm still being a prisoner. So the first thing is that hold on, hold on. I'm sorry. The first thing is like I had to realize that nobody is nobody's punching bag. Nobody deserves to be talked down, belittled, mistreated. Nobody deserves to feel like for somebody to say you love me, yet you say all these hurtful things to me. They're breaking you down, they're tearing you down. You're trying to be strong for everybody else, but deep down inside, like, you really feel like you're just a whole bunch of broken pieces. Like, nah, that's not okay. But there is a way out. There is a way for you to deal with that. And I'm telling you, like, one of the things a lot of people think is like, okay, I'm out of this, so I'm good, but you're not, because you have to deal with that trauma. You have to know. For me, when I met God, that's when we started to really deal with the trauma of the abuse. Meaning, like, I straight up knew, understood, like, I didn't know what love was. Like, for me, love was abuse, right? So I told God, how am I supposed to love? Like, I don't even know what that looks like. And he told me, he said, you love because I first loved you. And I was like, oh. And so through it, like, he taught me through the process, but I also had to forgive those people. And not because what they did was okay or it was acceptable. No, but and not to reconnect those connections, but no, so I would be free. So I would not be a prisoner or a hostage to them. And no way, shape, or form was it okay or was it right. Like, it wasn't. But I had to be free. I had to let it go. I had to understand, like, nah, I got I have to, let this go. I knew better. And so now I was able to, like, do better. So me and God, I allowed him. I refused to be one of those people. I allowed him to deal with the broken little girl in me. I went through healing, and healing is messy until it's not. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. But I'd rather me deal with me, because one day I know that God's gonna send me, the husband that he has created for me even before the foundation of the world. And I refuse to be broken and bleed on that man. I refuse for him to deal with some trauma that he didn't cause. I refuse to have that what I refuse to let what put me through hell all them years ago still show up in my life. No, because I know that the rest of my days, they are literally the best of my days. And I am at the most peace that I've ever been. So I stopped dating. I stopped, like, I had literally was like, okay, God, you know what? I'm just not doing it. It was just me and God. And I decided to get to know me, because I was so used to showing up for everybody else, right? And being everything for everybody else. I'm mom, right? Then I was a wife. Then I was this, and I was this. Who am I? What do I even like? What's my favorite color? Like, I had to learn what I liked. So I took the time. I learned, like, my favorite color is purple and gold, but more so purple. But I took the time to know who I was. I used to take myself on dates, and society tries to make you feel mad weird. I'm not gonna lie. I remember I went to a sip and paint, and the guy literally three times. Third time, I was like, okay, bro, what you doing? But he was like, oh, are you waiting for somebody? Are they coming? Third time, I was like, they're not. I told you I'm on a date by myself. Like, he was like, oh. And the lady next to me was like, excuse me. She was like, I just want to say, like, I am so proud of you, because I know people who are, like, older than you, and they will not go nowhere by themselves. And that's not, like, no, I literally just, like, took the time to, like, for God to, when I gave my life to God, I literally was like, I can't accept that this is just the way that life is always going to be. Like, there has to be more. Um and I deserve more. And so he showed me who I was. He showed me how valuable I was to him. Like, no, girl, you are the apple of my eyes. You are my daughter. I call you my own. I love you. I love you so much that I gave my only son to die for you. Jesus, so that when you believed, I'll spend eternity with him. So it's like, and you know what? That's like, God would be like, God, show me who you are, because I want we have to have a healthy relationship, and He has taught me that. So I learned how to spend time by myself. I like spending time with myself. I enjoy spending time with myself, and I just always just. I started to feel like I can't accept this is just the way I am. When I would see little things like surface, I'm like, okay, God, what we doing about this, God? We gonna deal with this, God, because I do feel like I deserve it to myself to make sure that I broke those things that try to break me. So yeah, I had to reparent my inner child, and God helped me to do that. I didn't avoid it. I went through it. I followed, the steps, and I know who I am. So I'm not going to just let anybody just mishandle me or treat me like I'm some doormat, or you can speak to me any type of way, because all of those things that was said is a lie straight from hell. All that, ain't nobody gonna want me because I got these kids. Guess what? I got grown kids, and I have another child. And nah, if you don't want me, that's your loss, boo. Because I want me. God wants me. am the prize. Don't get it twisted. Don't like, you know what I mean? Like, and I ain't gonna show up like that, but like, I understand what I bring to the table. I understand my value. I understand who God says that I am. So, like, I understand that there's a level of standard. I don't care. You can't just come at me any type of way. I need to know what's your goals, what's your vision, where are you trying to go? Because you ain't leading me to hell. I need to see the fruit in your life. You understand? Because when you spend time with God and you understand who God is, and you understand who He says you are, oh, your mind changes. He renews your mind. I don't think the same. I don't feel like I'm not no victim. I am not a victim. I am victorious because I overcame that, because I don't deal with that, because I would not tolerate that, not a day in the rest of my long, prosperous, healthy life. Okay. I do not deal with that. But what happens is, if you don't deal with it, you're always seeing out of the lens of your trauma. And so everything is just scanned from that. So yeah, like I still like I'm still working on like letting people, I guess, letting people close to me, right? But even with that, it's a standard, because like you can't just treat me however you want to treat me. Like if this is who I am, and I always think there's room to grow, but you cannot treat me however you want, because you have unresolved trauma, because if you have all of these things, because I could see a mother and father wound from a mile away. Now I had a daddy wound, I had a mother wound, I had these wounds and my life reflected it. But oh God, I thank you, Jesus, because when I was able to address those traumas, as much as it hurt, as messy as it was, as much as I cried, as much as I was isolated, as much as I was by myself, it was necessary for God to be able to truly purify me, to help me to be whole, like to do all of that. Because I don't believe that like somebody else, a person is supposed to heal you. Like I believe it's God and only God that can heal you, because like the amount of like stuff, like no, it just don't make no sense to me. So like for me it is, God, I know like you ain't gonna, you, for me it was, I knew like God ain't gonna send me his son for me to go hurt his child. Like he ain't gonna do that. But when it's the time, we are going to meet each other and we will know. But I'm not hungry or thirsty for nobody. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm this age, like I need somebody. I got God is enough for me. And when God sends that somebody, oh, I'm on, yeah. Cause what? My husband, I'm like, girl, shut up. No, because you know how long I done waited for this moment. But I know for a reason, I know for a fact that I would only my purpose and their purpose would have to align. It wouldn't be because I'm desperate. It wouldn't be because I want somebody. It wouldn't be because of that. So like I understand like when you go through trauma, but don't let your trauma become your excuse to stay the way that you are, or to just act and react the way you are because you're so stuck in your ways, because oh, this is just the way that I've been because of X, Y, and Z, because that's not okay. No matter how old you are, no matter who you are, you should always want to grow. You should always want to be better. The Bible tells us like we should always be ready to be learners, be students, and don't forget where you came from, because it's like that's the problem is like sometimes like you sitting so high and it's like no, say the truth. Like I have been through domestic violence. I know what it's like to be scared to get out. I understand what it's like to not know my value. I understand what it's like to be out here dropping it like it's hot, being promiscuous because I didn't even value my body. You know what I mean? Because it was like, oh well, if a dude could do it, then I could do it too. You know what I mean? Like I did not value it. So I'm not in no situation to be like, oh yeah, look at her. Like I would not do that, because like I know, like I was that person. So because I was that person, I know that God could turn your life around. He could flip your situation and flip your story, because you deserve more. You should not have to be going and playing private eye detective, trying to scroll through somebody's phone, trying to show up to see like where they at or investigate. And if I gotta do all that work, child, I don't want you. I'm like, I don't want you. Like, if there's no trust, there's no relationship. I'm just not like, I think that when you start to see, oh, there is the peace of God and the joy of God, there is nothing like it. No matter what you are going through, and you have peace that other people don't even understand. How this girl got peace? Because I ain't doing this alone. I know where my help comes from. You know what I mean? Like it's different versus like always in conflict, always drama. So now if it disturbs my peace, it gotta go. I choose me. I have to choose me. I had to show up for me. I had to be selfish a little bit, and I had to actually take the time. God, do what only you could do, because I mean, it's not. It was never about me, but if God is the one that he heals me, if God is the one who protects me, and God had to show me that because I was so in protective mode. It's like, am I your protector or you your protector? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. And now I'm trying to learn them healthy boundaries because I'll be quick to put up a wall and like, listen, unless you got some good climbing skills, you ain't getting over. Period. Like it's just not. And I'm working on like those like healthy the healthy boundaries, and even just understanding like, nah, okay, it's important for you to say what is on your mind in a way that you thought about it, in a way that like people could understand what you're saying versus screaming at them or when it's not the right time. Hold on a minute, I'm sorry, this thing is going off. Because your feelings are valuable, like what you have to say is valuable, your thoughts are valuable, and your story is valuable, because there's no story that's like too little or like it's not important. You know what I mean? That it's like, oh, why share this? Like, because what are people gonna think? I don't care what any of y'all think. I care what God thinks. And so what's tea to you is a testimony to me. So go ahead, go about your business, go talk about it. Make sure you tell them what Jesus has done at the end of it. Make sure you tell them at the end of it that God has changed and turned my life around. So go come try you some Jesus, because only God could do what he could do. I promise you. And so even with this situation, it's just like there's a way out. There's a way out. And I believe no matter, even if it is like, whew, no matter what it is, and I don't even think I did this wrong. I think I was more like, I told God, you know what, God, how are we gonna do this? Because I don't try to do this. I feel like sometimes for me, it's like, oh, let me just, pre-record and do it, because then I could just erase it and whatever. And this time I was like, God, okay, because I have notes and they probably were like better than what I was saying, but I'm realizing that my notes actually had became a chapter in my book. So I think that's like, I was like, yeah, girl, you ain't gonna spill all of that, the tea and all of this, well, the testimony, not the tea. So I repent of that. On this live, because you're gonna give people something to want to look like, to read, to see, oh, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna sit there and say it all. And I'm okay with that. It was just, me and God was like, nah, by third time, girl, just talk like you would talk to, somebody that you were just talking to out in the street. And so here I am just to tell you, like, you are not what you've been through. You are not your story. And I understand like that you feel like life has dealt you a sucky hand, and it probably did. A lot of the times, I realized that it wasn't the devil. It was my decision, even though I didn't like know God like that, but I still was using the name of God when I was in situations, telling him I would do all this stuff. And I didn't. I lied. And thank God that God, still showed me grace and mercy and still chose to choose me. And when I think about even my circle of friends that I used to be with back in that time, like a lot, one of them is in jail for murder. The other one is dead. The other one, has a whole bunch of kids, and a majority of them are not with her. And so the fact of like that God kept me, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, and I would never claim to be, because only God is perfect. But I know the power of God to get you out. I know that God is the only one who got me out. God is the only one who made me realize I was not broken. There is a heartbeat in there, y'all. And I love people now. And if you would have before, I ain't love nobody. Get out of here. Like every man for their own. People get on my nerves still. Like, I ain't gonna lie. There's lots of times where I have to tell God, God, I love you, but your children get on my nerves. Oh yeah, you won't have to help me, Jesus. Because it's the truth. But I love God, and I know he's real, and I know like when you don't know who you are, you'll just settle for whatever comes your way. But when you take the time to know who you are, you take the time to like have a relationship with God, because honestly, like you could go into a church right now, and guess what? You're still gonna remain the same, because then people probably ain't even heal their own trauma. Like some of them, yeah, just some of them. So you have to be mindful of even where you go. But I do believe that you should have Jesus and you should have therapy, but you should have more of Jesus, because that's the only one that can actually heal you from the inside out and transform your life and change the way you view things, change the way that you see things. Because my view of things was, oh, like, listen, my view of things was distorted. And I had to learn, God had to show me how to see out of the kingdom lenses, how to see how, he sees. And we still go through times, and I'm still going to be processed. You know what I mean? I'm still going to continually be processed, because I want to keep getting better. It doesn't just stop like, oh yeah, okay, so I grew this much. Okay, that's it. No, God, okay, what else we doing? Like, what else, like what we working on? Like, I always want to be able to grow and to help somebody else. Like, I never want anybody to just think like, oh my gosh, like, why do I keep going through? Because of you, because you ain't dealing with you. And just parents, I just want to encourage you that if like your child is in a domestic abuse relationship, I understand that you want to go in there and you want to choke that person out and drag them and probably run them over and reverse on them. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I understand that you want to like go and rescue your child and, just you don't deserve this. Like, why are you like, and it's hurting you. And if God is more like the enemy will try to play on your mind and play on your emotions. Like, if God is a liar, but he is not a man that he shall lie. If he said it, he gonna do it. So you are gonna have to stand on the word. You gonna have to no matter what you say to a person when they in it, you could go and argue with them till you blue in the face, till you passed out, till you dead. They gonna keep getting back with that person until they make a decision to leave that person. Ain't nothing you can say to them to change their mind, no matter how much of a sucky situation they in. They gonna stay in it until they get tired. They gonna stay in it until they tired of being sick and tired. Or there's two options, but I ain't claiming that for your child. They ain't gonna be 6 feet under. You know what I mean? Because it's like 6 feet under jail, or no, we're not claiming that, especially when you have God in your life. You're going to have to see the end from the beginning. You're going to have to give it all to Jesus. Even pray for the person who was abusing your child, because guess what? God cares about their soul too. God cares about them too. So, God, change the way that they think, Father. God, I pray that you would convict them of sin, righteousness, and judgment. Turn their heart towards you, Father. Turn their heart of stone into a heart of flesh, Father. Father God, help them to not be able to say anything, God, that would tear down my child, Father, that would or tear down any person. You're gonna have to intercede, like your child's life depends on it. Like, you gonna give it to God, but don't just pray idle words and just find scriptures and stand on those scriptures for your word, for your child, until your child comes out of that thing. Every time the enemy tries to, or your child calls you and tells you, oh, this and this is going on, because I got some situations and it'll be in there, like, you, even though it's scary, you're going to have to give it to God. Because let me tell you something, what I learned about Job. It said, what I feared the most came upon me. Anytime any type of fear try to creep up on me, I'd be like, nah, because what you fear will happen. Jesus, I'm gonna tell you I'm scared. I'm gonna tell you, me and God gonna have that conversation. And then, God, I need you to help me. Oh God, I need you to this. I'm not hiding it, but I'm bringing it to God and I'm releasing it, because I understand that God did not give us no spirit of fear. So when it comes down to your when it comes down to your child, when it comes down to anything, you're gonna have to stand on the word of God and be unmovable, unshakable, and trust that God got them, because he does. And you don't move until you see the word of God come to pass, and you see the fruit in their life, and you see that everything looks like the word of God and the will of God for your children's life. That you don't move. You gotta cry, you gotta scream, but you cannot play God. You gonna have to surrender them kids to God, no matter how old they are, because guess what? God loves them even more than what you love them. And he's the one that's going to bring them out. The same way he wrote your story, if you could sit down and really think about it. What were you doing when you were 17, 16, 15, 18, 21, whatever? Maybe you weren't in domestic violence. Maybe you were in something else. But we all have something that we was in that our parents or somebody was in there interceding, thinking, oh Lord, I know this child got common sense, but they out here acting like they ain't got none. Like, we have to know that the same way that God wrote our story, he's going to write their story, and he got them. So we ain't got to be up all night worrying about, oh, what's going on. Nope, God, I surrender this to you. You don't sleep and you don't slumber, and I'm going to sleep. Because you got them and you're writing their story the same way you wrote mine. You're going to meet them in your time, and your time ain't like my time. Your ways are not my ways. But one thing about it, God, I know that you got these children. One thing about it, God, my children and my children's children and their children, to even 1,000 generations, they will be saved, delivered, and set free. Because as for me and my house, we're going to serve you, God. So God, do what you going to do in these kids' lives, God, because my children and me, You keep blessing us, you keep us, you got us covered, and I don't care what it looks like, because I walk by faith and not by sight. So what is going on needs to align with your word, Father. Show me how to pray. Show me how to intercede. Show me how to break this cycle, because it stops with me. Because what we don't kill in that has tried to kill us, our children got to deal with it. They children got to deal with it. So if you keep leaving that unresolved trauma in you, guess what? Your child gonna have to deal with it. Your grandchild gonna have to deal with it. It's just gonna be a cycle of unrelenting things over and over, and like you just didn't do anything to deal with that. So that was that. And my book is coming. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the breakthroughs and the testimonies that's gonna come from it. And yeah, I will let you guys know when it is going to be released. And I pray that this bless somebody. And like, if you are in that situation, oh, this hair is getting rough because your girl's sweating. If somebody is in this type of situation, domestic violence, abusive relationship, please, like, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, on anything. This is a judgment-free zone. You're not alone. You don't have to handle this alone. There is a way out. There are several places that, they will help you. Don't let somebody sit there and make you a victim your whole life. It's not fun living in survival mode your whole entire life. Like, there's more to life. There's freedom in life. There's breath and fresh air, and it's just beautiful. When you don't have all that drama going on, you can appreciate the little things. And just like, yeah, I think God has taught me how to love my peace and my joy so much that I love my bubble. I love my bubble with him. I love quietness and just spending time with God. And I know that it's nothing but him that I am, who I am today. Because if he did not do what only he could do, I would not be able to love on people, to have a different grace for people, to have a compassion for people, to want to show people like, nah, I've been through this, and God brought me out. I would not have any of that if it was not for God. And I'm so thankful that he did what only he could do. And I know it was not me. I know it was him, but there's hope. There's a way out. There's a way of escape. This is not your forever. This is not, you deserve more. If you have kids, they deserve more. Like, you are much more than what you have been through. And as long as you have a pulse, God has a plan for your life. And all you have to do is like ask him to meet you right where you're at. Sometimes we think that we have to wait until we have it all perfect, but nah, let him meet you right there in your mess. I let him meet me right there in that bathroom while I was hungover. Okay. And he has ever since then. And I am thankful. And I want you to know that God can do it for you too. Your story doesn't end here. And life doesn't have to have drama associated with it, because that's not how it was meant to be at all. It's peaceful on the healing end of the kingdom. And once you know who you are, you ain't gonna never let nobody treat you however they want, because you have a standard. Because you understand, no, I want people to treat me how I want to be treated. Like, you understand, like, you can't talk to me any type of way. You can't treat me however you want. I'm not going to conform to who you want me to be, because you didn't make me. I'm going to conform to who God has made me be. That's my standard. And so this was today's, and I hope that this blessed somebody. And yeah, if y'all want me to reach out to you, you can put your email in them comments. Let me know. And my book is coming, Processed from Mistakes to Greatness. So my goal is Mother's Day. And listen, that book right there, I really thought I was like going to share like a lot of stuff. I'm like, God, how am I share all this stuff? Because I literally was writing it because I was going to do this thing, but I just was flowing in that vein. And I do know that God is going to heal people, deliver people, and set them free through the testimony of my life. God has used me to be a voice for the voiceless, because all abuse is abuse, and that's not love. Okay, because love does not hurt in that way. Love does not hurt to the like, that's not love at all. Love is an action word. So if your form of love is you hitting me, that ain't love. Like, that's not. Um and yeah, like, it's not. That it's a lie. It's a lie, and you deserve more. And you should want more. This should not be the end of your life, because if you're settling for this, guess what? You're gonna be 100 years old. You're gonna die, and that's the way you're always gonna feel. You're always gonna live through hurt lenses. You're never gonna trust anybody. You're gonna just be like, I hate men, I hate women, like, because that's what the enemy wants you to do. Just hate everybody. I just hate everybody. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened with my daughter's father. I hated like him so much because of the stuff I allowed, that I ended up was like, I need to be with a woman, and then that was more toxic than it was. Just all toxic. It was toxic because I didn't deal with me, you know. And that's what he tries to do. It's like, oh, I don't need to be married. Like, ain't nobody good, ain't nobody this, ain't nobody that. And now you're speaking out of them hurt lenses because of something that somebody else did to you, and they done moved on and started victimizing somebody else, or hopefully they done healed from it, and you still stuck on what they did to you. You don't even know that even though you're out, you're still in there. You're still a prisoner to that person because you have unresolved trauma. So you deserve to be set free. You deserve to no longer be a prisoner to your past. You deserve to understand that God has said that he has given you life and life more abundantly. That you gotta take them shackles off, sis, bro. You gonna have to. You gonna have to let them people go because they don't went about their business and they not thinking about you. They over there. God, I pray that they saved, delivered, and set free. But yeah, you're gonna have to let it go because not every person's the same, and everybody should not have to pay for your trauma. Everybody should not have to deal with your ways because of you looking through distorted trauma lenses, because you never dealt with that. People don't deserve that. Like, why do I have to deal with your unresolved trauma, or this is just the way you are because you're stuck in your ways? Like, I ain't dealing with that. Like, you're going to have to see you for you and realize like, oh, this hurt me, but I'm not going to treat everybody like this because of one or two or 10 bad experiences. I'm going to get the help I need. I'm going to do therapy. I'm going to talk to Jesus. You know, I'm going to do whatever it takes because I want to be really healed. I don't want to be out here faking it till I make it. And then I'm just angry and bitter at the whole entire world because of whatever. Like, no. People sometimes they have become who they like. It's a pattern. Like, this is what they dealt with. Now they're passing it down, and it just keeps going. So like at a certain point, you have to realize like, oh, this is the way that I am. Like, nah, I don't have to be single forever because of, you know, what happened. But I do have to heal me because I deserve it. I deserve to be the best version of myself, and being the best version and knowing who I am is knowing who God is. If I know who God is, then I know who I am. If I know his character, because I can't do this whole self-care. Okay, well, I'm going to go spend some money and try to cover up my feelings with some therapy trauma. And now I'm broke it in a joke. I'm all in this debt, spending money I don't have, and the trauma's still there. I'm emotionally spending and I'm drowning in trauma. No, and I'm not going to trauma bond with nobody neither. Like, I am going to be intentional about putting in the work and doing therapy and having Jesus, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much I have to face me, no matter even when God has shown me that I became the person who hurt me and I have to apologize to people and there's no but in it, or, oh, because I went through it. Nah, there is no but, because you didn't deserve that. I don't have any but. I'm sorry. Like, I messed up, you know, you ain't even got to accept it, but it's the truth, because I've hurt people. And I've apologized to people. And if they accepted it, then all good. If they didn't, then that's between God and them. You know, so I just want to tell you, like, heal you because you deserve it. You deserve to actually feel what true love is. And it starts with you knowing God and you knowing how much he loves you. He loves you so much, he sent your son so that whoever believes that you won't perish, but you have eternal life with him. So really, like, I didn't know God. I didn't go to church every Sunday. I literally was just tired of being sick and tired. And I was like, God, if you're real, I'm gonna need you to show me you're real. For 33 years, I done tried it on my own, and look where it got me. I'm in the same circle over and over again. And life has to be more. In my brain, life has to be more. I don't care. Like, I know it's more, and it is more, and God has showed me it's more, and I know there's even more than right now. There's more than the more, because I serve a big God. Sometimes we be acting like He a small God, but I serve a big God that does big things, and I just know. Whoo, the eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard what God is about to do for Elizabeth Victoria Perez. You heard, and her children, and her friends, and her family, and everybody that's connected to me. So, yeah, I hope that y'all having a good Saturday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. I'll say bye. I can't end it. Hold on.